Hello, you are welcome to another live session, transmitting live from Onitsha in Anambra State. Like I said, we'll be in a city close to you soon. Once we get into the second phase, we move around different states. So let me see where you are joining from today. Let me see the city or state you're joining from. I can just read that, indicate that on the chat. Yes, Saleh Diba from Gombe. We have Mujahid Muhammad Kaduna, Awal Muhammad Bello from Nasarawa State, Muhammad Goma from Katsina, Belosad Adamawa State, Charles, okay, it's a mentor. Yeah, Nemeka Christel from Abuja. Bello Sad, Adamawa State. Ahmed Idris, Zamfara State. Yes. Zamfara State, quite interesting. The Zamfara Information Technology Agency, they got to us and they offered a venue for the meetup. So from the second phase, the meetup for Zamfara State was provided by someone there in the ministry. Quite interesting. Zamfara State, I think it would be nice. I hope to visit that place during the second or project phase, one of them. So we have Musa Said Usman from Taraba, Bashir Hassan Jigawa State, Muhammad Abubakar from Kano, Garba Muhammad Musa from Yobe State, Charles Awu from Ogun State, Amanda Onyama from Abuja, Awar Makafi Abuja, Bashir Hassan Jigawa State. Yes. So, Akindele Abayomi, Osun State. Okay. Obasi Azubike, River State, Jigawa State. Yeah, I've not seen Plateau here. Is anyone from Plateau State here? Can you indicate? I hope our Plateau peers enjoy. I see Namani Lola from Enugu. Yeah. Yes. Yasua Musa, Sokoto State. Interesting. Isake in the Oyo State. Ishak Usman from Kano. Yeah. So I'm seeing Benue State here. That's Daniel Kesa from Makodi, Benue. Plateau State. Matthew Ushe, Plateau State. Nice. Abubakar Gozara Jos. Yeah. Nwankwoshi Beze, Enugu State. Solomon Ojuniyi. Yeah, Lagos. Yeshua Musa from Sokoto State. Okay, nice. Have I seen Uyo Akwa Ibom yet? I'm not sure. I can see Ogun State, Abubakar Gazara from Ogun State. Alabi Abdullahi, Kwara State. I see Borno State. Yunus Shiroma from Borno State. Castina is here. Idowu. Ondo. Okay. I will start in the next 1 minute. Okay, Yobe State. I can see Sally Sugarba from Yobe State. Yeah, Port Harcourt. Isabella Ameshi from Port Harcourt. Okay, interesting. I've not seen Akwa Ibom though. I'm just, Is anyone from Akwa Ibom here? Can you indicate? I can see Broad. I can see Ogun State. Nature is beautiful from Kano. Nice. Nature is beautiful. True. We have someone from Kenya. Seth Belari from Kenya. Nice. Okay. Okay. Promise next in Adamawa State. Okay, that's it. So we're going live now to the course we have for today. Announcement again, please. If you haven't signed up to the portal, the Fifth Work portal, which is the main portal where the course is going on, you have to do that. In yesterday's video, I shared the link where you can go sign up. If you apply for this scholarship, you just applied, okay? And you got that email that's, yes, we received your application, or you got the congratulatory email. Please go to Fifth Work. Your names have been set up already. Go there and sign up to the first course on our series, which is, you see, NITDA, Introduction to Blockchain Theory, to Bitcoin Theory. Yes, that's the first course you're supposed to sign up. So for the selection into the second phase, the first thing we do is to go to the course platform. So let's say in the course platform, we have, let's say, about 29,000 people that sign up. Because we want to take 30,000, it means we have to take everybody in that platform. Yes. So, or let's say we have 30,000, 30 something, just between 30,000 range. Let's say everybody in Fifth Work are within that range and you complete your coursework there, then we're going to take everybody in it. So where competition comes through is, let's say we go to Fifth Work and we have 60,000 or 80,000 people, okay? Then we also have to look at, then we will now, take the assessment serious for the JavaScript and the Golang. So I want to make this clear. JavaScript and Golang, they are just tools you need in this course. So they are not the main, we just want to refresh you. For people that have no programming background before, this is an opportunity for you to get the skills you need to continue with the course, the main course. So the main thing we are doing is blockchain development, all right? So JavaScript and Golang are just some of the tools you will need. So our main focus is that introduction to Bitcoin theory, you must complete that course. So if at the end of the day we have maybe 32,000, 33, whatever they are about that completed it, we are taking everybody that completed it, okay? And as it stands now, we notice that many people haven't signed up into that platform. So it's important. Fifth Work, you go there, sign up, and do your course. In fact, that course, you can complete it within 2 days. You can, if you bring out one day, say, hey, I just have this day, you have 1 day, you can complete that course in a single day. Then the assessment for the course, I said it before. If you haven't seen assessment, that's fine. The plan is assessment will be unlocked 5 days to the end of the course. So let's say around 26th, since course will end by December midnight of 31st, yes. So around 26, 27, you can come back, check, you will see the assessment. You take them, and then from there, we take the people that are going to the second stage and kick off early January. So that's it for the announcements. Let's get down to work now. Let me share my entire screen so I don't have to move around from one screen to the other. So I'll stop sharing now and bring up my entire screen. Okay. Yesterday, we took the introduction to Golang. And it's important we wrap up this JavaScript part where we will discuss functions, so that when we get back to Golang, because Golang is just about functional programming. So it's only function we're going through. So I just felt we should introduce the function from JavaScript before we get back to Golang and start putting all the functions there. In the last class, we looked at variables, right? We were able to name variables, and we looked at arrays. Remember, we were able to store the values in array. We made, was it fruit? Yeah, we made an array called fruit. And inside that fruit, we have different variables. We have inside the fruit, which is a variable anyway, we now have different values. Yeah, we have like strings, orange, apple, you know, watermelon and stuff like that in it. So today we are continuing. And yeah, in that course, we also looked at making decision where we say, if true, let the other one happen. That's where we stopped. But we looked at only one case where you just have, if this, do that. But in real life, sometimes you need to test so many options. So on my screen now, you see an array called colors. We know it's an array because the way it's declared. Remember, you can declare arrays in two ways. You can use the new keyword, where it's a new array. Then in normal bracket, you put the values, or you put all the items in the array. The second part is just to say, you say the name of the variable equal to, then in square bracket, you put that. This is more common. It's easier. You don't have to put that new and array. And if you're already used to working in Python, you should know this is Python. That's how you declare array in Python. Just say this equals, once you put a square bracket, it knows you are doing an array. So you'll find this method more when you're walking around. So what we have, we declare an array called colors. And other that we have red, blue, green, yellow. So each of these items are members of the array. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 items in it. And I remember I said before, array are 0 indexed. So if I want to get the first element of this array, I will say color, in square bracket, I'll put 0. 0 is the index. So index 0 is the first element, which is red. Index 1 is the second element, which is blue. Index 2 is the third element, and index 3 is the fourth element, right? So there are 0 index, but in terms of the length, we have 4 variables there, 4 elements rather in it. So let's say we did selected color equals, you know, colors and index number 3. What's in index number 3? Let's see. Red is 0. Blue is 1, green is 2, and yellow is 3. So in this case, we are selecting yellow. So we said selected color. It's a variable again. That's how you do variables. We have the first variable colors, but this variable is an array. It has so many elements in it. Now we have another variable called selected color. And this, from what we saw, just have one variable in it, which is yellow, right? So see what happens here. If, I think we should just type this out. Okay, let me run through it, then we'll go into this, into our code editor and work it out. So if selector color, look at that triple sign. Remember what we said about the triple. When you put a triple equal, you're being strict. You want to make sure it is. Remember, if you want to compare two things, let's say you have number 5 and a string 5. If you use just double equal sign, it will tell you that number 5 is equal to string 5, which is not true in the real sense, okay? But if you use triple equal sign, you say number 5 is it equal to string 5, it will tell you no, it's not. So it's important that when you're doing your conditional, when you are trying to compare two things, you always use the triple equal sign to be sure that, you know, yeah, what you're getting is what it is actually. So what we want, the important thing here is that we have many options to choose from. So we say, if selected color is red, do this. We know what console.log does. Else, if, that's what we are looking at, the keyword there is else if. Is this is blue, do that. Else if is green, do that. Then the last one we say else. So look at what happens here. We started with if condition, execute that, else if, which means if this is not red, come to the next option, it will come down, okay? in this case, remember our selected color is yellow. So let's see what happened. It comes to the first, say if selected color is red, in this case, it's not red, it will skip, it won't do anything. If you come out of this, come to the second statement here, say else, if it is blue, it checks again, it's not blue, it will jump out, come out of it, it doesn't do anything, right? Now, if it's green, it checks it's not green, it will come out. We now say else. We're using else here because we know that it's 4 variables. So if it's not this, it's not this, it's not, then it has to be that. So, and it comes here, we didn't say anything, we just say, if it doesn't meet all these requirements, else, now do that. So that's how you do, when you want to test multiple things, you use else if, and you end it with the final else. So let's get to the console and type this thing out and see how it behaves. So I go to my editor. So inside my JavaScript folder, which is the folder for this course, the directory for this course, my JavaScript directory. So inside it, we have selection HTML that we worked with before, so we could just go ahead and use it. So I'll go to selection HTML, this file here. I'll need to zoom in on my screen, just so you guys can see more. So first, I'll close this Explorer so I have more space to work with. If you click on that, it toggles between opening and closing the Explorer. So Command plus to increase my size, to zoom in more. Can't see that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Let's start. Okay, this is what we had the other time where we did blue, blah, blah, blah. We did a test. If you see the test with here, we did if num is equal to that, console.log x, do that. That's the basic one. But today we are going to introduce else if, where you have more options. So one thing we could do, which is I can select all this block here. We don't want it to run. I'll go to selection, the menu for selection. No, I think it's edit. Let me see. Yeah, under edit, I said toggle block comment. So what is, I want to convert all these things to comment. Let's see. Here we go. See, that's why editor is good. So when you put something in comment, what it means is that it will not be executed. At runtime, it will ignore everything. That's comment is, you use comment to, to explain what you're doing, tell people about, maybe if somebody is reading it, because when you write a program, it's not just for you. You're taking it out there. Someone have to use it at some point. So comments are usually used to, say things about, like documentation, say things about what a particular snippet does. So in this case, we've graded them out. We've commented them, they will not run. I think we can comment this one also. All these var we have here, we don't need them now. But I don't want to delete them. So I'll just go back on edit. I'll say toggle block. I'm using block comment because there are multiple lines. If it's just a single line, we just say toggle line. No. Block means if we take the entire block and convert it to statement. But if you say toggle line, we convert each line to statement. So I'll just use the block. There we go. So it's grayed out now. So what it does, it put it /* and end it with */. The same thing, this is the same way you comment in C. I think they got that from C maybe. Okay, so let's get down to today. 1 minute. Just see what we have. Okay, let's state our variables first. So So we have variable. Okay. We declare variable colors equals. We want it to be an array, and to make an array, you put a square bracket. Put square, and in code editor, once I put the first square, it automatically closes it for me. It knows I need to. So the first color there, we have red. I'm putting that in double quote because it's a string. If it's a number, you just state the number. If it's a string, you put it in quotes to show that it's a string. So red. I just have some colors. Let's have green. Maintain the same. We have green. We have blue. And each item is separated by a comma, and we have yellow. Yeah. So we just made a statement, variable color equals that. Then we have a new variable called selected color. Selected color equals, then colors, we choose any item. In this case, we took 3. So we just create a new variable called selected color, right? And we want to select color. Out of these 4 colors, we want to select one. So we can vary it later. So we selected the color in the third index. And the third index means 0, 1, 2, 3. That's how it's counted. Okay. So that's it. We now come to our if statement. If selected color, again, it gives me a hint because it's a variable existing. The code editor gave me a hint of select, so I can say yes. I won't need to type it out. I just hit enter to select that one. So if selected color, 1 minute. Okay. So it has a C like, so we put that. This is the condition. We put the condition in quotes, in bracket rather. I close it. So yeah. So if selected color is equal to, let's use a triple equal to, let's maintain that. If the selected color is equal to red, that's the condition, then we put a block. Normally, when you want to create a block, use the curly braces. So that's it. We've seen this before here when we did the if norm, other norm, blah, 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 right? So we put our curly brace, hit enter. Now, you see how it did the formatting for me. It brought the second brace down here and gave me where I'm supposed to type my thing. So yeah. So if this is what happens, what was the condition again? What was the result we want? Okay, we log what color it is. So we say console.log the selected color is red. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're just picking everything, writing out this string completely. So that's what we wanted to do. But what if this is not the case? Now, people have different writing style. I can continue from here, else if, and give the condition. You know, I can choose that, but I prefer to just start on another line, the else if. So I take it down here. And I say else if We open the curly braces for this one, the block. Hit enter. Else if. Oh, let's put the condition first. Else if, what is the condition? The condition is, okay. So the code editor already is giving me a default format. I brought down the else if another line, but hey, it's sending back that way, well, that's fine. I mean, yeah, it's okay. Just that by convention, some people, you like to have everything in a separate line. So when you're reading the code, you see all the blocks. Okay, that's fine. You can work with what we have now. So we put the condition if, sorry. So if selected color, I'll select that. Give me the, yeah. If selected color equals to green, we close the bracket. Okay, if selected color equals to green, what will happen? We want it to log. We say console.log. The selected color is blue. Sorry, it's green. Yeah. Okay. We come back again. Else, if, assuming that's not the case, we give a new condition. If selected color, I'll go back and put triple equals on the other one in a bit. If the selected color is blue, let me correct this first. In the green part, so I put the 3 equals sign, make it a strict. So if this is blue, let's write a block of code, what it has to do then. It's also console.log selected color is blue. Okay. So we have 1, 2, we have for red, we have for green, we have for blue. Now, if it's not red, it's not green, it's not blue, we have only one more option. I didn't type that right, fixed it now. So if it goes through the first one, the second one, and it's not, well, it can only be one thing from what we already know, right? So it can only be yellow. So that's why in this case, we now say else. This is the final part, the final conditions. So at console.log selected color is yellow. Okay, I think we are good. Let me see. Yeah, looking good. So we have our variable, which is an array that has 4 elements. And we create a new variable, which we want this to be what selects the color. In real sense, you could give access to someone. When someone comes to your web page, you could see a prompt. This is exactly what's going on here. And it will tell the person to choose a number or something like that. So depending on the number somebody choose, you can do different things. So that's what's going on here. I saved that. So saved. Okay, let's go and check the browser. This is selection HTML. So let me go open up my browser. We're using Google Chrome. So let me move this to the side. Oh, yeah. Okay. So I could just say file open. Open file. 1 minute. Okay, I have this in, I think it's programming. Okay. Programming NITDA blockchain scholarship. Then JavaScript, selection, HTML. Yeah. Want to open this. Okay. So this selection here is the header we put the last time we worked on this. But you remember where we want to go to? Yes. If you say console, you're right, because this is JavaScript. We want to go to the console to see what's going on. What we are doing yet, we've not brought it up to, to render on the HTML page, okay? So we are using console to interact with it. And to go to console, I can do two ways. I can click, let's see. No, I can go to view and go to developer mode and select JavaScript console. That's one way. But the shortest way or the shortcut would just be right click anywhere, not on a link. This page is more blank. So if you go and click or right click on a link, it will give you other options. So I just want to anywhere on the page, you go to inspect. Where is it? Inspect. Okay. It brings up here. We're interested in the console. We are looking at the elements. This is the form, how the web page, you only have the header, the body. Under the body, we only have one thing there, which is selection. This is what we're looking at here. But we're not interested in this right now. And this is our script anyway. This is the script we just wrote. Okay, but we're interested in the console. So let's go to the console. So what did we say? The selected color is yellow. I think that's what we expected. Let's get back to our code editor and see. So let's choose another color. Let's say I choose color 1. Whatever 1 is, you will know. Now, okay. Okay. Let's say I choose 1, like we did here. Let's see what we expect. 1 should be, we have 0 is the red, 1 is the green. So let's go and refresh our page. When I hit the refresh button, yeah, select color is green, just like we expected, right? What if we pick 0? What if I go and say, I select 0? You should tell me what it is. Now look at this little mark here, white thing here. It means I just edited this page, but it's not yet saved. So if you edit something, you didn't save it. If you go and refresh, you won't see. It will not show. It will show you what it was before. Always save your work. Mine is set up to save every 30 seconds or so. So even if I didn't save it, every 30 seconds, it saves it automatically for me. But if you didn't do that setup, it means each time you finish, you change anything, you hit Control S. Yeah, Control S means save. So it saves your work. So whenever you see that dot here, let me change something again. We'll come back. So let's say I put 2 here. You see I have this circular white dot here. It means this page hasn't been saved, right? But if I hit Control S, yeah, it disappeared. The page has been saved. Always know that. So we have selected color 2. Let's see what happens when we refresh. It's blue now. Yes, it's blue, the number 2. Is it the 2, the index number 2? Yeah, 0, 1, 2. So it's correct. So that's it. There are some common mistakes you can make when you run program like this. One of the mistakes, maybe you see how we separated all the items with a comma, except the last one. Maybe we forget to put 1. Let's remove this and see. I remove this. Now, because I'm working in code editor, it already gave me an underline here. I say, hey, you have a mistake here. You see, it's just bumping it around. I'm saying this because I'm using a code editor. So you can always know, oh, you have a mistake. But if you're not using a code editor like this, let's say you're just using a plain text thing, or just typing on a HTML, a notepad, or any, word processing document, you wouldn't see this. And if you go ahead and refresh the page, let's see what happens. Oh, you see, it says syntax error, unexpected string at line 31 from section 13. So it picked out exactly where the problem happened and told us. It's on line 31 on section 13. And what is it? It says syntax error. So syntax means you didn't follow the rule for the rule of the language. So in the rule, for each object, for each item in an array, you have to separate each item with a comma. That's the rule. So I made a mistake. We assume we made a mistake. We didn't put comma in one of them. And you see, it got the error. It says a syntax error, unexpected string. We didn't know what that means. And then it gave us clue where it is, line 31. So let's go back to our code editor. Line 31. See that? That's where we have this green thing, line 31. I'll now look and say, oh, mistake, we didn't put comma. So what do? We go ahead and put comma. There. My code editor will push it back to being normal, but in real, if you're not using a code editor, it won't bring it down like this. See, send it back. If you're not using a code editor, it should just still be on the same one line, only without a comma. Just go where it's supposed to be and put a comma. And now if we refresh this again, no error. Everything comes fine. So these are some of the things you look out for. Yeah, you could, I don't know. Oh, we can make another mistake, for example, although it won't work here because we have a default. Let's say we want to pick color number 4, for example. Color in index number 4. But you have only 0, 1, 2, 3. So we don't have index 4. This will work, this won't give us error. And you know why? Why was that? We say, if it is not this or this or this, just tell us it's yellow. So we put a default. It's like, hey, that's why it will not give us error. Let's check. We show something out of range. It gave us yellow. That's what we told him. Okay, what if, okay. So that was it. We told him if it's not this, just give yellow. So a better option would have been, we'll use else if here. Else if we give a condition. Else if selected color is equal to yellow. Else if it's yellow, then console.log that, then we'll have a final 1 minute. Yeah. We now have our final else, which says the final else will just say the console log console.log, yeah. So what message, this person put an option that is not in the list. We could just say a selected color is not in the list. Yeah, this will make more sense because no, something else. Oh, I didn't close this place. No wonder. I need a closing bracket here. Yeah, I think it will be happy now. Let me see. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, this makes more sense. Just in case someone comes and chooses a color that's not within, So it's not an error because we took care of it already by saying if it's out of range, if it's not any of these, just tell the person you choose the wrong color. So if we run this again, so the selected color is not in the list. So that's the else if statement in JavaScript. Now you can see it's too long. What if you have 10 options? So you have if this, else if, up to 10, it becomes, no, it doesn't look good. There's another method, and that's the switch statement. We're going to look at that next. Sorry, not you. No, not you. Okay. So let's go that. So we have the switch statement. Let's study this and see. That's another way. Rather than having else if, you can use what we call the switch statement. And what happens here, we still have our variable colors, same thing we had before, and we have variable selected colors, same thing. But rather than use the if statement, we use switch. So the syntax, again, I told you all this, you don't use math to solve it out. You're not supposed to be special to be able to find out what it is. No, the guys that wrote this program, the JavaScript, say, hey, if you want to use switch statement, just follow this instruction. It's that simple, okay? So if you're writing something and you need switch, just go back. If it occurs to you that this if else is too long, can I use it? Yes, you can use the switch. Just go back and look at switch. How does switch work? What is the syntax for switch? And you move on, okay? All right. So in this case now we have, so you have the keyword called switch, and you put what, you put the option that will be selected here, okay? So we have switch, whatever we want to be selected here, then you now make case. So the first case is red. If it is red, console.log this, that's it. And once you do that, break means come out of the loop, don't continue. Remember, when we have the if-else statement, it goes through them one by one, okay? If it's this, if it's that, but when it hits whatever the option is, it comes out of the loop, but we didn't use the break because in the if-else, it already knows if it's not this, it does the next one, but once it's not, it gets the answer, it goes out automatically. But for this switch statement, you use break to jump out of it. So another case is blue. And if it's blue, console.log blah is blue. And next thing, break, come out of the loop. If it's not this, it moves to the next one. So it keeps checking, and we check for yellow. And see what happens. If everything is done and it didn't see it, it has what we call the default. Default means no matter what, if you've gone through all these options and you didn't get the condition I want, send this is my default condition, just default something that will happen. And what the default is, say console.log there was an error. Yeah. So let's go ahead and implement this and see what happens in our selection.html file. So we come back here. So let's, the if statement, let's convert that to, let's make it a comment so it won't run again. I select the block, all the ones I need. I come to edit and I say toggle block comment. That. See? What it does, it put this /* and it ends it with */. That's it. So at this point, we still have var colors and var selected. So we need those two. I don't want to retype them, so it's there already. So let's do our case statement. So, and here is the syntax for the case. For the switch statement, you start with the keyword switch. That's just the way it happens. So let's do that. Yeah. So here we say switch. You put your condition. Our condition here is selected color, right? So I say selected color. Yeah. then in curly braces. So everything goes into this. So what is our first case? Take a look again. So our first case is red. Okay, so we say case red, we put column, and that's the condition, that's what you select. And what will happen next? We'll say console.log. You selected red color, right? 1 minute. Okay, the color is red. Okay, fine. We just have, remember it's a string, so we have to put it in string. The color is red. Okay. So the second, we can go on green. Let's call it green. One minute. Oh, I missed break statement, sorry. So I missed the break statement. So when you are done with this, you say break. Okay. I also miss closing up this quoted here. And that's why I had a red. So whenever I'm typing and you see red somewhere, the browser, the editor is saying you made a mistake somewhere. So I opened this double quote, but I didn't close it. So that was why I had that before. I think we are good now. So we have case green. And if that's the case, we say console.log. Okay. The color is green. And when you're done with that, we break. Case. After here, we have what we have, blue. Yeah. So case blue. Console.log. The color is blue. And if that happens, we break out of the loop. Okay. And then we have another case. In this case, case yellow. Console.log. Color is yellow. We break. So at the end of the day, we have our default. And in the default, we have console.log. There was an error. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So that's it. You did all your case, all the different cases, and then you put your default. One place you can use this, let's say you're doing a times table, for example. You want to match something. So if somebody presses a number, right? If you just go match the number and tell the person what it is, it could be a hide and seek thing, right? So you just say, choose one. Whenever I choose, it goes through the option and tell you what. So in our case now, our selected color here is 4, which is out of the range. Let's start from there. Let's see what it will say. So I go back to our, and refresh the page. There was an error. We expected that because we selected 4. Let's go back and pick something within the range. And we'll have under the selected color. Let's take 1, color 1. Save that. It's saved. Then refresh. Yeah, color is green. Let's confirm that. Yeah, 0, 1, green is 1. So what we just saw is how you can make decision. So, and in programming, you make decision all the time. You're writing a code, a piece of code, and you want to find out if this person, if let's say it's an app you're building around the blockchain, and you want to check a simple check that happens is usually somebody want to make a transfer, make a transaction. I want to give you, let's say, certain amount. It could be NFT, it can be anything, just digital asset. You want to transfer digital asset. You want to check, does this person have this asset in the first place? So you have to check. Now, if he has this asset, let the transaction go. But if he doesn't have this asset, throw up an error, right? So you could have so many criteria you want to go through. Is he a member? If he's a member, how long have he been a member? And based on that, do this. So you can use the if statement, you can use the case, but case mainly when you have so many options, so many if else. If it's just 2 or 3, if this, else, do that, well, use the if else. But when you have an option where it's getting long, right? It's good to use this case statement to do the selection on that. So that's about it. I keep going to this, not you though. All right. So if we just if else alone, we won't have much option going on. So when you're trying to give a condition, we need certain way to aggregate condition. So in this screen here, we are looking at the and. And means double ampersand. So and you want to compare things. Let's say you want to find out if it's sunny. No, let's say if it's raining and it is afternoon. So if it rains in the afternoon, probably in the afternoon you are off to work, right? And you have this maybe somewhat certain monitoring device, IoT or something in your house, okay? And if it starts raining and it's in the afternoon, which means you are not around, maybe call me, call my neighbor, trigger something, right? So you want both conditions to be correct, to be true. In that case, you use what we call the and. So look at what we have. We have variable good mood and variable got sleep. So in the good mood, if it's true and the got sleep is true, then do something. If one of them is false, it will fail. It will not execute. So that's what the and does. You use it during for testing out your condition. I was writing a program today. Well, I can't remember. Yesterday, I used or somewhere. We'll come to or very soon. And after running it, I got the wrong answer. I'm like, why did I get the wrong answer? I had to go back and say, oh, because I used or. So I had to use and. When I used and, the answer came out. What I needed, what I was expecting came out, right? So let's see how this goes. Let's just go ahead and implement it. So we just have two options that are true. We can call it anything. We now use the if statement. We could just replicate this one. So good mood and got sleep. Back to the code editor. Again, I won't want to delete this, so I'll just select them and turn them into a comment. It ended here. Go to my edits and say toggle block comment. So if I want to remove this comment, you go back, select it again, and tell it to toggle. Toggle means change, change between two states, this or that. So toggle that. See, you removed it. But in this case, we want it to be comment now. We don't want to execute it. So we grey that out again. Edit, toggle block comments. There we go. So let's have a new condition that we use the AND operator. So we have var, what was the name again? Can be anything anyway. Good mood and got sleep. All right. Good mood equals, it's a string, a piece of string. And here we say it's true. Okay. Boolean rather. We talked about data types, right? We mentioned, yeah, I think it was in Golang, yesterday class, yes. In yesterday class, we talked about data type where we talked about Boolean. Boolean is true or false. It's just two values. It's either true or it's false. Okay. Terminate this. Variable got sleep. Because we call it true after we play around these values to see what it comes out for. So if good mood and where's my end again? Okay. And got sleep. If both conditions are true, what do you want to do? See, we console a lot. Today is a good day. All right. So we do console. It's a string, so I put any quotes. Today is a good day. What's that? Now, else, I'm having a grumpy. I am grumpy rather. Okay. Else, okay. So, sorry, the and is double and not one. Is double, not one single one. A single ampersand means another thing altogether. So it's double ampersand that here is and. Okay. So let's see what happens. Here we said this guy is having good mood and he got good sleep, right? True means in the affirmative. So I save that and go back to our console and refresh now. Today is a good day, and we know why. We got a good sleep, and 1 minute. He got a good sleep and is in a good mood. So what about he's in a good mood, okay, but didn't get a good sleep? So in that case, got good sleep will be false here. And if this is false, so one condition is true, one is false. And remember the AND operator, for it to be true, all the conditions must be true. If any of the conditions, you might have 4 conditions. If any one fails, it will be false. So let's test that out. Control S. And come back here and refresh. You see, I am grumpy because it got a good, it's in a good mood, but didn't get a good sleep. So that happened. What if we have 3 options? What will happen? So let's introduce another option. Let's say, what can you variable? I don't know. What else can make someone's day good? You have the good mood, you slept. In Nigeria here, maybe if you got some money, maybe somebody somehow, somebody made a payment, you've done some work and they've not paid you for a while, somebody make that payment. So variable got paid, let's say got paid, makes you happy. So it was true. It was true. All right. In that case, we'll come back here and we add another one, and got paid. Yeah, that. Okay, let's analyze what we have. He's in a good mood, is true. Got sleep is false, didn't get sleep. Got paid, yes, he's happy, he got paid, is true. So let's see our option. I'll refresh that. Yeah. I'm grumpy. He's still grumpy. Why? Because one of the conditions failed. And when you are using an AND, every single condition must be true. Even if you have 4 options and one of them is false, everything goes to false. So it's a very nice operator, very good operator. When you want to test certain things, in a typical blockchain application, like I said before, for you to make to sign off your digital asset to another person, okay, you bring the person's address, which is the public address, right? And you make a script that transfers part of your digital asset to that person. So conditions could be, yes, you must have that asset in the file. If you don't have it, it won't go through. It could also be, it could be it's a time lock. It's a transaction that has a time lock on it, okay? It could be that this transaction should happen maybe 2 weeks after it was initiated. So you have to check, is it 2 weeks yet? If it's not, it won't go through, right? And it could also be a transaction that, require more than one signature. Let's say in an organization, in a corporate organization, normal thing, one person don't operate the company account. So you have 2 people or 3 or 4, depending on their policy. It's also in the blockchain, you could have an asset that you require multi-signature to do. So an organization might have an asset, it could be NFT, it could be anything, whatever it is, all right? And they want to transfer that asset. You say, hey, to transfer this, 3 people, we need 5 signatures, but out of those 5 signatures, at least 3 must sign, okay? So if we check, 3 people signed out of this, if you have done, it takes that. So all conditions must happen before this transaction goes through. So something like that. Okay. So that's the AND operator. It's very useful. Helps you make some critical decisions. All right. So let's look at OR, the OR operator. Going back to the console. So in the OR operator, if one condition is true, your result will be true. You just need one condition only to be true. That is OR. And it comes from the word where you say, give me A or B. When I say give me A or B, if you give me A, it's fine. If you give me B, it's fine. If you give me both of them, well, super fine. So that's what the OR does. Okay, if one condition is true, it's true. It's only false when all the conditions are false. So if I say, give me A or B, and you didn't give me any one, then, right, it's false. So let's try that. Rather than have and here, let's still use these three options here. We say or, and is the pipe, we call this pipe, that character is called pipe, the double pipe. That's what translates to or in JavaScript programming. So if it's in good mood or it's got sleep or it got paid, he's having a nice day. Either of these triggers a good day for this guy. So I save that and we go back and see. Remember, he has a good mood. He didn't have a nice sleep, right? And he got paid. So let's see what the mood will be based on our program. So I refresh that again. Today is a good day. Yeah. Why? Because one of the conditions is true. Okay, let's make two conditions false. This guy didn't got paid. Supposed to get money for the holiday that's almost here and hasn't been paid. So let's say he hasn't been paid. So we put false here, but he's in a good mood anyway. Since we are using the or operators here, two are false, only one is true. Let's see what happens to this guy. Refresh. He's still having a good day. That's what the or does. It only needs one condition to be true, then everything. So, but let everything be false. This guy's still not having a nice day. Woke up and someone got him so, and maybe had a call, didn't like it, wasn't happy. So everything is false. Let's see what happens now. Now he's grumpy. So the or operator, when you just need one condition, so you're testing for many conditions, you just want one of them to be correct. So if this happened or that happened, or if any of this is true, please do that. So you can use the or operator. So that's the difference. The and is true. If you're using and here, everything has to be true for it to be true. But for the or, you only need one to be true for it to be true, or all of them false for it to be false. So this is logic, it's part of logic. If you study logic, you'll see things like that. You heard of logic gates, the and or the or for people that did engineering. It's the same principle here. The and gate, the or gate, they have the NAND gate, the NOR, and negation, all of them. So same thing. All right. Keep going to this place, not you. Okay. So let's see how this happens in loops. So we're looking at loops in JavaScript. We've seen the if condition, the if else, and the switch. Let's look at loop. Loop is very common in every programming language. You must have loop, because if you have something, let's say you want to iterate, you want to go through names that is 1,000. You want to check a list that's up to 1,000 for condition. Maybe in this list, is this person, oh, let me give a real life example. When we are processing the admission list we had, all the people that applied, the original data was 100 and something thousand. Let's say more than 100,000 people applied for this, okay? And now we found out that there were duplicate. People applied 2 times, some 3 times, some even 4 times, the same email address, okay? And we have 100,000 data. If you start going through all data one by one, well, by now we haven't processed the list. 100,000, that's huge, right? And you can make a mistake. So what I did was to write a Python script, and in the Python script, I just said, I grabbed the field because we have a form, they have different fields. It's in a CSV file. So I used the email as a search word. So I tell you to read this file, and after reading it, for every line in this file, if this email, if this email, if this email exists, all right, that's fine, but put that email to a hash file, a hash table somewhere. So it will come the first page, it will check. If you see your email, it will put it in the hash table. That's the first time, no wahala. You keep going there. If you see your email again, it will check, is this email in the hash table? If it's in the hash table, it will write on another file your details there. Okay, so that's what we did. So, and you know, okay, no, basically, yeah, if email exists, don't write that person again because we have already written that person. So at the end of the day, we got from more than 100,000 to about 93,000 or so. So that's a real life thing that happened. It took a while for 100,000 lists. In less than 30 seconds, it gave me a new list that are distinct people. So that's what the for loop does. It will go through data, no matter how long it is. So let's look at the syntax for loop in JavaScript. So here we have for variable I. So we know what variable I means. You are declaring a variable. You call this I. But in the for loop, you want to initialize is the counter, what we count. So we call this the counter. So we set this counter to 0. So for I equals 0, you terminate it with a semicolon. And we now have condition. What's our condition? I equals 10. I made a mistake here. I typed this afternoon. This should be I less than or equal to 10. I'll correct that before. Oh, let's see. Yeah, I can. No, it was an image. I did it in the editor and, oh, don't open it, sorry. So I'll correct that. It's wrong. No, let me close this. 1 minute. I got the quick comment. So when we get to the code editor, I'll type the correct thing. So from I equals 0 to normally it should be less than 10. I plus plus means increment. So what it does is if it comes the first time, I is equal to 0, okay? And the second condition is that for I less than 10, so if it comes the first time, if you log, console.log I, what is I? 0. It will come back. Because we have this incremental here, I plus plus means increment I by 1. That's what it means by 1. So the second time it comes back, I is no more 0. I is now 1 because 0 plus 1 is 1. So it comes back, it print 1. It goes back again, I is 2, it prints 2, it goes back 3, like that, until after printing 9, I becomes 10, and here is supposed to be less than 10. When I is less than 10, it will exit the loop, it stops. Let's just go ahead and practice it and see. And what do you want to print? Yeah, I just want to print some bunch of numbers, yeah? Okay. So let's get to. All right, so again, we have to turn this into a comment. And when we are running them, I'll upload this to the GitHub repo. So you could just uncomment each block. Whichever block you want to uncomment it, then try it around, change the values around, play around with it. If it breaks, you still have the original file, you bring it again. It's important to try things out. Please don't just copy and paste. You see what I'm doing? I'm typing all this out. It's part of the program. Learn how to type things out. Don't copy and paste. I see you're learning now. I'm your instructor. I'm typing them out. So I expect you to type them out. So even though you have this, replicate your own. Type everything out one by one. I bet you as you're typing, you start seeing some errors that here and there. And when you're facing a real life giving a real life work, you know all the common error. But if you just copy and paste, you feel, oh, I got it, but it's important to type them out. So I have to send this back to comments, toggle block comments. Yeah. Okay. So it's toggled now. So we have a new stuff. We want to try out the for loop. So I say for. Again, we put the condition. What condition do we want? If you remember, we have you initialize your counter. So I equals 0. You terminate it with a semicolon. Then what is the condition here? For I equals 0 to 1 minute. Okay. The condition here is I less than 10. I less than 10. Okay, yeah. You terminate with a semicolon again. then you put your incrementer here, which is I plus plus. I plus plus means add 1. Whenever you come after the first one, come back, increment I by 1. That's what I plus plus is. It could be anything. It could be J plus plus. It could be anything, whatever variable you are using. Remember, for I could have said for J, I could have said for Y, I could have said for Callisto. It could be anything. So just use what makes sense. But because it's a counter, we don't really normally want to, put a lot meaning into it. Just I is a counter, J is a, you just count. It doesn't matter. Once it exits this loop, it drops what I is. If you go to another loop, it takes a new value from there. So if for this case now, we want to make a loop. We want it to log console.log. Remember when we were doing course yesterday on Golang, if you want to send something to the screen, we use printf. But in JavaScript, you say console.log. See how languages vary. Each language has its way of achieving the same aim. Okay. So what do we want to log? We want to log I, whatever I is. Control S. We save that. So let's go check it out. Come back here. I'll refresh that. Oh, now you see we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We stopped at 9. And that's what let's go through the code once more and see. Here was the code. We said for I from 0 to condition is let I be less than 10. It can be anything. Your condition can be something and this or that. It can be multiple things. It doesn't matter what it is. Just put the condition that makes your code work, that makes your code make sense, achieve what you want to achieve, okay? So it come for the first time, I was 0, you can see 0. It came back, incremented by 1, it printed 1, it logged 1. You keep going. When I hit 9, so after printing 9, it increased I to 10. It now checked, with condition is that I has to be less than 10. But since I is no more less than 10, it exits the loop. So that's what happened here. If I had wanted it to print 10, we could say I less than or equal to. That's how to write less than or equal to. I showed you operators before in the Golang class. It's almost the same. Operators are the same in almost all the languages, almost all of them. So let's run this again and see what happens. I refresh this, and now we have 10. And why do we have 10? Because we gave a new condition. The condition is either less or equal to. So after printing 9, it came here. I became 10. 10 is equal to 10. That's why I printed it. When it now came by the second time, I became 11. 11 is not less than 10, and 11 is not equal to 10. Therefore, it exits the loop. It's powerful, very powerful. The for loop is very powerful. It's, in fact, it's the most common loop used. Most common loop used. If you are doing something in an array, you want to print elements of an array, for example, you have to traverse all the array one at a time. If you know the length of the array, for loop is a good thing to go with if you know the length of the array. Okay. And there are other conditions too, other ways of looping around. We've seen this, so. Okay, this is not very common, but we'll treat it anyway. This is for off loop. Please don't worry about, I'm just showing you everything that is possible, okay? So when you're working, you could choose the one that works for you. So this is for off loop. We've done for loop. That's the most common one. This for off, personally, I've not used it in JavaScript, but in Python, we use something like this. It's very common. I can say for food in whatever, do this. So it's the same thing. It's called the for off loop in JavaScript. So let's see what it does. We say variable food equals grade. So we have an array that has 4 elements. This array has grapes, cheese, bread, olives. So look at this for, we say for variable each item. So we made up this word. It can be anything. For, I could say for food. No, because I have food already. So for each item of food, okay? This food here, remember we're saying for off. The two things we are looking at, this for here and this off. Those are the keywords. So in between them, you can name anything you want. It can be anything. It can be each item, it can be item. You can call it whatever that makes sense to you. Of what are we looking for? This array food, okay? Console.log each item. This each item here is the same each item we have here. Let's practice it. It will get cleared up. So for that, okay. Come back here. Again, we turn this into a comment. Just go to the edit section and toggle block comments. There we go. So for 1 minute, please. Okay. Okay. First of all, we have to create our array. So what array do we have here? Since we are talking food, var food equals, I guess we should use our local food. Yeah. We should use our local food. Okay. For food, is it, let's say Gary, Eba and Gary the same thing. So I'll skip that. Beans, yeah. Is it beans? There we go. Beans. And yam or yam. And I won't leave out corn or corn. This is our food, common food we use in Nigeria here. Gari, beans, yam, corn. Okay. So that's the variable. Let's go now and make our loop. For 1 minute, please. Okay. So we are declaring a variable called each item. So for variable each item, of food. 1 minute. Okay. For variable each item of food, console.log. Console.log each item. Okay. So let's see. I save that. And we go back to our console and refresh this page. Yeah, so we have Gary, beans, yam, and corn. So let's see, what do we have here? So that's what happens. So in this case, we use a counter, right? See the difference here. We don't know what's inside the item. We don't care. We don't even know how many items there are. That's the good thing about this. Remember, when we used the for loop, we knew, we gave it a start point and we tell you where to end. But why this is a good stuff, and I use it a lot in Python, is you don't need to know how many data you have in that variable. Let's say it's an array that have 5,000 items. And I want to loop through all those 5. If I'm using a for loop, I need to know that it's 5,000. I can say for I equals 0 to I less than or equal to 5,000. But in most cases, you don't know how many there are. So in that case, you just say for each item in whatever array is, log do whatever. So if we go through each of the items, you see where it becomes very good. You don't need to know how many data points you have in it. Just use this and you look through everything and come out with the answer for you. Very nice way of going through a loop. So the other one is the while loop. Let's take a look at it also. Keep coming here. In the while loop. So in the while loop, it also works like the for loop in the sense that you don't know how many items you have. Just say while a condition is true, keep doing something. Just keep doing it. All right. But you must terminate. If you must find a way to terminate it, because if you run indefinite, if you don't terminate it, if you run, I can say, while the condition, do that. If you don't terminate it, it will run indefinitely. You call what we call an infinite loop. It might hang your system because you use up all your resources running. And the way we terminate here is this. Let's look at this code here. So we have an incrementer called we made it 0. This increment is the same of saying I. You can say var I equals 0, okay? And var text equals empty. Double string like that just means empty. So it's like you have an empty string. And there's a reason we have that. You will see that in a bit. So we now say, while incremental is less than 10, it's simple as saying why I is less than 10. That's the condition. You give a condition in a while loop. Why? What is the condition? Y is less than 10, then do this. Y is less than 10, do this. And what you're supposed to do is to write this, increment. Let's go ahead and type it out. Okay. So again, I have to archive this, not archive, but I have to turn this to a comment. Go to edit and toggle block comments. Yeah. Okay. So why we put our condition? Okay, we'll first define what we need. Rather than increment, I'll just say I. So I can say variable I equals 0. Yeah, that will be my incremental. So while I is less than 10, we want it to do something. Console.log I. So console.log I. If I stop here, I'll have what we call an infinite loop. Let's see why. Now, I is 0, okay? The condition says why I is less than 10, log I. So if we come here, if we write 0, if we go back here, I is still 0, right? It will come and write 0. If we go back, so there's no way of changing the value of I. So avoid this. If you do this, you have an infinite loop that continues forever, except you terminate it or sometimes you shut down your machine. But yeah, you can terminate the process anyway. So we have a way to make sure that the value of I changes to say I plus plus. Remember, when we say something plus plus, we increment that in by 1. So we say why I is less than 10, log I, then increase it by 1. So this way, I will keep growing until it's equal to 10, and it will hit the exit. So let's see this in action. I save this and come back to our console. Yeah. And refresh that. Okay, same thing. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 9, right? So let's see. So it did the same thing the for loop did for us. But in this case, remember, we don't, you can use while loop. Let's say one common place I use while loop is you want to, maybe you're dealing with arrays, okay? A string of data, yes. So you want to pick up the characters in a string, but you don't know how long it is. So you could use a while loop. And maybe why it's not null, why one of the characters is not null. Keep doing this. So if we keep doing that, you can use it to get a whole paragraph, an entire textbook. I can use it to copy an entire textbook, right? The while loop, why this happens, just keep getting me all those streams and do whatever I want to do with them. Or maybe as it's coming up, I'm checking, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for a particular data inside a huge, maybe a text that is 10, 20, 30 pages long. You can't keep reading all through one by looking for that simple letter, right? So you could use a while loop and, as you grab them, you do whatever you want to do with them. You do them here inside this block. Remember, we're only doing console.log. You can as much do so many things. I can add it to a number, existing number. I can, do all sorts of stuff with it. And that reminds me, in the original thing I have here, I want to concatenate text. So let's have a variable text. Variable text. Yeah, let's use the concatenation string and see how it works. So we create another variable called text, and this variable is empty. There's nothing inside it, it's a placeholder for us. Okay. Now we want to concatenate. 1 minute, please. There's my file. Okay. So text plus equals have gone up by, okay, just a text is, okay. Let's see, we look interesting. So come back to my code editor. So yes. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's fine. So we define this console.log for now. So we'll now say text equals plus equal means something. When you say plus equal, let me type it. So when I say, for example, that A is equal to A plus B, or rather, let's use I. I have I here already. I can say that I is equal to I plus 1. So what happens here is that let's say I is 0 in the first place. So that's incremental. When it comes back, I is equal to I plus 1. So I becomes to 2 now. When it comes back, I becomes 3, like that. There's a short, it's a very common thing in programming. And there's a short way of writing it. It's not just because it's short, but because it's a good data structure. It improves the data structure of your program. And the shorthand for what I just have on the screen, where we say that, see this thing, I equals I plus 1. The shorthand method for it is we say I plus equal 1. That's the shorthand. Also, we have this, we can say I is equal to I times a star. I times, let's say 5. Okay. So each time I come multiply by 5. The short form of this is we say I, we now say times equal 5. That's it. So it's a short form. We also have, assuming we are saying I is equal to I divided by 5. The short form for this is to say I divide equal 5. Okay, so let's get back to what we're doing. So we say that text plus equal. So what you say, text is equal to text plus. And remember, I told you plus it does so many things. It's what we call operator overloading. So plus, if you use it for two numbers, it will do addition. If you use plus for text, it will join the two texts. When you join two texts together, we say you are concatenated the text. Okay. So whatever text is before, we want to add something. What was the message we want to put? Let me see. We want to say the incremental has gone up by, okay. So we say the incremental has gone up by, we put a comma here. Now see, everything here is a string, just a statement. It will just print it out like that. It doesn't do any evaluation with it. Has gone up by, oh, remove this plus. We now use the concatenation here, plus has gone up by I, because we are looking at our I, yeah. Plus what again? Okay, that's it, new line character. Let me not put this, we'll see how it will work. So this is my text. So after running this loop, when you're done with this loop and you are out of it, we want you to now console.log text. Terminate this. Anyway, let me put it anyway. I will explain what it does. Plus n. It's called new line, a new line character. This, whenever you see, for you to appreciate it. So what it does is when you're putting something on the screen, it comes like a stream. So it will write 1, write 2, 3, 4 in a single line like that. But if you want everything, each result to go on a separate line, you put this character here. It's called a new line character. \n is a new line character, and that's what we're putting now down here. Okay, and we are concatenating them. So take this, join it with this. I will need to put space here. I put a space before this, so it will read out properly. Okay, I think we are fine. Let's go and run this and see what we have. Go to the console. So refresh this. Nothing showed up. It's still trying to run. Why? It seems I have an infinite loop somewhere. See, this thing is stuck. It's stuck, really. Let me see what we have. Why is it stuck? Yes. Why this is less than 10? We didn't increment I. Look at this. Uncut invalid length as selection 83.4. 83. Let me see what's on line 83. Line 83. Text equals blah, 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 blah. Okay, but one thing is clear, we didn't increment this, so I have to put I++. So that's the loop I was talking about. So you see, we're able to, the Chrome was able to handle it. It knew, okay, this was problem, so it handled it. Let's refresh now and see what happens. There we go. So incremental has gone up by 0, has gone up by 1, 2, 3. Now, why each line is on a separate, why they are on a separate line is because of that new line character we put. I'll show you again. This n, \n gives a new character. So it's a new line character. It makes a new line. The next time I want to write to a new line, that's what it does. And the other time, we ran into a problem because we did not find a way to increase I, to exit this loop. So we had an infinite loop. Only that Chrome, having known that this is an infinite loop, after waiting for a long time, it caught it and stopped it. That's what happened. Assuming you're not running this on Chrome, you're running on your own normal. If we run this from inside here, this thing will run forever. It will go infinite. We have to terminate this one word or the other before it will stop. So always look out for this. When you create a condition, make sure you have a way to exit. When you are in a loop, make sure you have a way to exit the loop. The for loop is easy because you must have your beginning and ending anyway, right? But in the while loop, you have to be careful. Make sure you have a way to exit. Now we have the result we wanted. It keeps increasing I for each time because that's what we told it to do, right? Okay. Our time is almost long gone. Let me see what we still have here. I think I will have to do another class only for function because we can't, with the time remaining, we can't just finish functions. We're supposed to go into function now. Let me see. Yes. So function has to be a class of its own. So I just know it may be 30 minutes or less, or maybe 40 minutes maximum. Yeah. So we'll now treat functions. It's a full-fledged. I think you come up fresh again. Go and practice what we have already. And in that class, we look at functions only. So we'll draw the curtain here for today. I want to reiterate the announcement we made before. Please, tell your peers, anybody that signed up for this course that haven't gone to Fifth Work to start his coursework should do that. They have up to 31st December to have finished and do the assessment. Again, assessment will soon be unlocked and you can do this assessment. And like I explained, for the next second phase, if the people that did their work in the Fifth Work, if they are just about 30,000, we just go ahead and take them. We won't have extra assessment for JavaScript and Golang because they are just helper functions to the main thing we are doing. The reason we have them here, we are talking about assessment for JavaScript and Golang is just so we can help us for selection if we have so much people to select from. But in that sense of that, complete your introduction to Bitcoin theory. You're almost 90% sure that you are coming into the second batch, right? Of phase 2, which starts the main program. Let me see if there are some questions I'll just take. Come back to the feed. Look at the questions. I finished my blockchain tutorial, but I still cannot access assessment. Yes, assessments are locked. They will be unlocked 5 days to end of the course. So since technically by January 1st, the course ends, so I will talk to them in the back end. Maybe we can have a cutoff. I will just let them know we will unlock them from, let's say, 26th December. From 26th, assessment will be unlocked. You go there, do your assessment, okay? Yes, but the default is 5 days to the end of the course, 5 days. 5 days should be about 27th or so. Yeah, so just from 26, 27, go back and look out for your assessment and complete them. Thank you. Okay. How do I run my code on Chrome console? I lost that point. Okay. So first of all, you use your code editor to do your code. So to test in your Chrome, you go to Chrome. Remember, you saved your file somewhere. In my case, let me show you. In my case, here is my file explorer. I have selection inside the JavaScript folder, inside the NITDA blockchain folder. Okay, I have a folder called NITDA blockchain. Inside, I have JavaScript. And inside JavaScript, I have this. So I know where it is. So if you know where it is, you go to the first way you can do it, you come to the Explorer, open any page at all, it doesn't matter, sorry, on your Chrome. You now go to File, Open File, here is it, Open File, and wait. So you then navigate, I don't know where you saved your file, but navigate to wherever it is, okay? And select that file. My own case is selection.html and open. Once you do that, it opens. But when it opens, you don't see the console, okay? When it opens, let me close my console and start all over. Okay, when it opens, you just see this. That's all you will see, this selection here. Now, to go to the console, there are two ways. Maybe you are using Windows, so let me use a more general way. I don't know what the menu in Windows will be, but I know if you navigate to wherever you have developer tools, you can now say JavaScript console. But let me assume I don't know what the menu is on your machine. So right-click anywhere on the screen. So anywhere that is free, right-click. I did a right-click. You now see Inspect. See that? Inspect. You click on Inspect and wait. So it brings up this for you. And when it comes up, it goes to Elements. You click Console. And your own might come out different. It might be vertical at one side. There's a way you can change that. Let me see. Yes. You see this icon here? No, device toolbar. This is not what I'm looking for. There's an icon that lets you, something like screen. You know, you can choose to have it horizontal, you can choose to have it vertical, you can choose to have it any way. I think I zoomed it on myself. That's why I'm not seeing those options. So you can actually toggle where you want it to be. Like my own, I said, come below, just so I have enough room to do. But your own will show anyway. It might be vertical by the side of your machine. So if that's the way, you can drag it out one place, drag it out the width so you could see more. So that's how to come to the console. Now, whatever you do in your editor, in your code editor, when you finish, save it, then come and refresh the page. When you refresh, it will load the page new. And if there's any new command, any new script you have written, those new scripts will run. So that's how you open the console in your browser. All right. Let me see if I have some other thing to take. Are we going to write assessment for JavaScript and Golang? Okay, the plan we had was, yes, you write assessment. That was the plan. But we found that after this many people that applied, we just have about 20-something thousand that has gone into to sign up in the fifth work. So I'm hoping that we have minimum 30,000 people signing up. So what I'm saying is that the fifth work is the number one thing we want to consider. So first of all, we'll take everyone that have signed up on fifth work and completed their courses. If the total number is around 30,000, all those people will go into the second phase. Now, if, let's say, with all the announcement we are doing by this weekend or the next more couple of days, if we have up to 60,000 people signing up on fifth work, then we have a work to do, because out of that 60,000, the assessment on fifth work, they are quite easy, really. I mean, it doesn't require much technical. Yeah, there are some that require technical skills. So I'm assuming that almost everybody will hit 80, 90, 95%, right? So if that happens, then we will go ahead to put assessment for JavaScript, because Golang is tougher than JavaScript. We just want the minimal entry for people. So we'll put assessment for JavaScript just to help us streamline people again. But like I said, if at the end of the day, we just have around 30,000 on fifth work, there will not be an assessment on JavaScript and Golang. So the essence of teaching you this is to understand it, know it, so that when you start the other courses on blockchain, okay, that require these skills, you already know what they are, you can follow the class. So it's just giving you prerequisites of what you need. So the major thing we want to assess you on is introduction to Bitcoin theory. Assessment will come up on JavaScript if we have way more than people that we can handle. Then we'll give assessment on JavaScript just to streamline people down. Other than that, once you complete your assessment on fifth work on Bitcoin, introduction to Bitcoin theory, as things are right now, you have more than 90% chance of making it to the second phase. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so that's it. See you guys again tomorrow, same time tomorrow. End the broadcast now. Thank you. Bye-bye. I stop my share. Stop.